6 o'clock. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the October meeting to order of the Board of Directors of the Greater New Haven WPCA. Debbie, would you read the roll call, please?
Ray Salton, Salvador DeCola,
He's there.
Robert Balsigno,
Here.
Raymond Pompano, Stephen Mangillo,
Here.
Russell Sear,
Here.
Jeffrey Ginsburg,
Here.
Clayton Williams,
Here.
Michael Finiani.
Here.
Good, we have a quorum. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the passing of Stephen Perrone. Stephen was one of our original board members, great contributor to the board, not only for his technical background, but he had a strong interest, and everything that Stephen contributed was meaningful. So very sorry to hear about him passing. And some of you may remember him that have been on the board for a while. But he was a New Haven representative. If you are interested, the obituary is at the westhavenfuneral.com, so you could get more information there. First item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move it.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'll second it.
Thanks, Mike. I'll give everyone a second to look through that. Does anyone now have any corrections, omissions, any additions? Again, was a rather short meeting. All those in favor of the meeting, of the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstaining? Minutes carried unanimously. A second item is a call to the public. Do we have any public on the line? None? Okay. We'll move on to item 3, Clayton.
Resolved that the form of the memorandum of understanding by and between the authority and the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection regarding the completion of a conceptual design for improving the fats, oils, and grease fog receiving and processing system at the East Shore Water Pollution.
You stay on here, I'll put you on speaker.
As further described in the exhibit to agenda item number 3 is hereby approved, and the executive director, Sidney J. Holbrook, be and hereby is authorized and empowered for and on behalf of the authority to negotiate, execute, and deliver such memorandum of understanding and any and all reasonable and necessary documents in furtherance thereof.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
I'll make the
Mike?
motion for you, Steve.
Yep, and second, Bob, I'll have you second it. Mike made the motion.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. So who's taking this one?
This is Gary's.
Gary on?
He's
Yes.
muted.
All right, now I'm on. I had it muted. Sorry about that. All right, this is a memorandum of understanding between the Connecticut DEP and American Green Fuels. Well, the memorandum of understanding relates to the issue with Connecticut DEP and American Green Fuels. They had some issues. They assessed penalties to them. As part of their penalty, American Green Fuels is asked to do a SEP, a supplemental environmental project, which DEP was okay with, and that money would go to us in that form of $51,500 as part of their penalty settlement with Connecticut DEP. They've sent us this memorandum of understanding so that we can sign it to Connecticut DEP to get this money. We're going to do a conceptual design for our fats, oils, and grease receiving facility. We have a hard time with We receive a lot of restaurant grease into our existing system. When we do wet wells, it's a very dirty material, has a lot of plastics and other material in it that makes it harder to process. So we're looking to have a separate tank that could be discharged into, that we would do some screening, grinding, and even some heating in that before we pump that over to our existing fat soils and grease system. We're going to have an engineer do this. It's hard to find some location on the area of the plant. To find this, we're looking to, put in something like a 30,000 gallon tank to do this. We've been talking about this. We actually put it in the budget previously to look at handling this grease with some capital money. It's one of the capital projects approved last time, last budget. So we had this in mind already when the opportunity presented itself, because we were impacted pretty largely by the American Green Fuels, and I think DEP saw that, so they're offering us this benefit of, we're not getting any penalty, cash settlement from it, but they would do this for some work that we were envisioning doing ourselves for this. And it is related to the fat soils and grease, which is what DEP needs to see some connection to the violations that occurred, and so that this fix will that whatever recommendations they make for supplemental environmental project would help to fix that problem there. So they're in agreement with us to do this work here. They have tied it in. We do have to let them know when we actually finish the project. They don't want to fund just purely design, which is what they're doing here, but they want to see that this leads to a project that is completed. And since that was in our capital program already, we felt that this was very acceptable. This was going to be money that we were going to have to spend on an engineer anyway, so we're getting subsidized by American Green Fuels indirectly through DEP.
I have a question. Who is American Green Fuels and why are they being fined?
American Green Fuels is the biodiesel facility located not too far from the plant, down on the port there. They take in on an industrial scale fat soils and greases and are making biodiesel out of it. We were taking their discharge. They had ramped up their production way beyond their permit limits, and that's why DEP then got involved. We were having problems at the plant affecting the process and affecting and making a mess coming in through our system. So,
Gary, this is Steve. Do we know what we want to do, or is this going to be sort of a process of trying to define a better way to do this?
We know what we want to do. We want to have a separate tank for that wet well grease, the really difficult stuff to process in. We have a few locations in mind at the plant, but utility, some of the utilities would have to be moved in some of the locations we're thinking about. So we want to kind of bring in the engineer to look at some of the different sites, work through with them where we're thinking about, and then really to develop costs for each of the locations that we would think and what we would have to do, so that then we can know, we want to really come up with our design points where, the location, what we want to do, the sizing, so that we can then go to a design to actually build the facility.
And we have the physical space for this?
We have areas around the plant, our plant is getting tighter and tighter, so because we'd like to put it into the ground, it bumps into utilities that are there. And so we have to make sure, like some of them, if we move, what's the cost? We need to evaluate all of that. We have a couple locations in mind, but we need to run them through the mill to kind of find out what's doable and what the cost will be associated with that.
Thanks. Other questions for Gary? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We're on to item 4.
Item number 4, resolved that the agreement with Brown and Caldwell for conceptual design services for improving the grease receiving and processing system at the East Shore pollution abatement facility in an amount not to exceed $51,500, as further described in the exhibit to agenda item number 4, is hereby approved. And the executive director, Sidney J. Holbrook, be and hereby is authorized and empowered for and on behalf of the authority to negotiate, execute, and to deliver such agreement and any and all reasonable and necessary documents in furtherance thereof.
Thank you. Do I have a
move the
motion?
item.
Who moved it?
Ray
Sal DiCola.
Piano.
And a second?
I'll second for you, Sid.
Thank
This is
you.
Bob.
Oh, Bob. Thanks, Bob. Gary,
You're
again?
welcome.
Yeah, this is the engineering work to go along with that memorandum of understanding that's going to get us the 51,500. We had this scope, like I said, prepared actually previously with Brown and Caldwell to look at them doing that work. So we just rolled this into, we actually had to come down a little bit on the price to meet what they were paying, and they were acceptable to do that. So this is the engineering work to do this conceptual design for the fog receiving facility.
Okay. Any questions for Gary? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? None. Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Clayton, item 5. Clayton?
Yeah, okay, hold on. Item 5, resolved that the agreement with National Water Main Cleaning Company for inflow, infiltration, rehabilitation in Hamden and East Haven in an amount not to exceed $5,855,842, as further described in the exhibit to agenda item number 5, is hereby approved, and the executive director, Sidney J. Holbrook, be and hereby is authorized and empowered for and on behalf of the authority to negotiate, execute, and deliver such agreement and any and all reasonable and necessary documents in furtherance thereof.
Thank you very much.
I move
Do I have
the
a
item.
motion? Thank you, Sal. Second?
Second.
Who seconded it?
Mike.
Mike. Thank you.
Tommy.
Tom's right. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chairman. You should be, I should be screen sharing right now. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
This is a construction notification for the infiltration inflow reduction project, Middle Thorpe Drive, Upper Thorpe Drive in Hamden, and metered areas of 5, 9, and 13 in East Haven. This is what will ultimately go up in our website and be sent to the 2 communities, East Haven and Hamden. You guys in your package should have gotten a map that looks somewhat similar to this. This shows the areas that we'll be working on. This is a very large lining project with a little special caveat added to it. We have like 4 miles of lining on this project and 250 manholes rehabbed. This will result in a net reduction in flow and inflow of like over 400,000 gallons a day. So it's a real valuable project. One of the unique parts to this project is that we'll be working in Hamden on an area of the sewer. Let me see if I can annotate this. We'll be working on this, whoops, in this section of sewer through here. And as you can see, in this area is there's a dam here and water behind it. This area is a very high level of infiltration inflow. As you can see, it's kind of landlocked. It's on DEP property, kind of adjoining some farms and some residents on the main roads. Very difficult to get to. This was part of a consent order with this town of Hamden that's carried over ever since we regionalized. And we've took a long time to get it to, you can see we've lined other parts up to that. And we had a really hard time putting together a set of plans to achieve the inflow remediation in this area. So we finally have it incorporated thanks to Arcadis and Mario's hard work in our office. As you can see, this project is numbered 2016, so it's taken us a long time to coordinate this with DEP. But ultimately, we have a plan that's going to result in lining of a portion of these sewers and then actually capping or raising some of these manholes so that they're out of the water, and then sealing up the manholes where most of the infiltration is coming into. One of the net benefits beyond that is going to be, we're going to have an access road, not a road per se, but through DEP property, access to this particular pipe that will make it maintainable in the future, which currently it wasn't in a condition to maintain very easily at all. Pretty much impossible. So in the end, we'll have access roads so we can get into this pipe, clean it, and address any problems that ever could come about. We're going to get a pipe that's 50 years in life, and then obviously remove a lot of infiltration. So this is a real valuable project. We had, as you can see in the attachment, we had 4 bidders. A little less than we normally do with the lining contracts because of the complexity of the road and some of the other ancillary subcontractors that you would have to hire to do this work. We got I think a really nice, tight group of bids, with National Water Main being the low bidder. So I'm asking that we approve National Water Main. They've done a ton of work for us. They haven't done a lining job, but they do a lot of lining outside of New Haven. So I'm very confident in their abilities to do the job. As you can see, I attached a 10% contingency on that, and we'll proceed forward like we normally do with these projects in the past, and hopefully we don't have to use it. Any questions?
Tom, have we used Granite Liner? That's a close bid to them?
Yeah, Granite we've used in the past, yes.
Okay.
All
Yeah, I
4
noticed the bids were.
contractors we've used before.
And what's that lake where the dam is? What's the name of that little, is it a pond or,
Well, yeah, I don't know, Paradise Avenue easement, we're calling it.
Okay.
I don't think the dam has a name per se. If it does, I'm not aware of it. If Mario can hear this and he wants to chime in, welcome to do that.
Steve, that's part of the Farm Brook flood control. That's Dam 2A, and to the west of Paradise Avenue is Dam 2B. They built 2 of them there, and it's
Okay.
south of Howard Drive.
Okay. Oh, I know where that is now. Okay, thank you.
Hey, Tommy, can you email those attachments to Steve, please?
I was going to ask you that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. The attachments, you mean
The letter, that one you usually
yeah.
send like to the alderman?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what you're saying, the neighborhood,
Right.
piece.
Keep in mind, that's in draft. That has not been seen by anybody yet. So we would have put that together and you would have got copied on it anyway. But yeah, I'll send it over to you in advance. It's in draft form. So please.
No, I'll wait till you get it finalized.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
I just wanted to let you know that was in the works, and that will be posted on the website eventually, but we'll forward it over to you. Yes, certainly.
Yeah, I noted the savings in, the capacity for us with the elimination of that much water. That's significant.
The cost to treat on it's not insignificant either. I'm sure Gary can attest to that.
Yeah. No, I mean, and this is a
Probably
costly
for the sewer.
project too, but it's going to be worth it in the long run.
Yeah, it's a really well-needed area there. When they put the sewer pipe in and then they built flood protection on top of it, that's never a good thing. Our manholes were below this water surface. We have raised some of them, but yeah, this is a big issue that does need to be resolved, or could be a big issue.
Yeah, well, that area is at the base of the ridge, right? So there's a lot of water coming down through there, I think.
I think so. Right.
Any questions for Tom? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously too. We're on to item 6. Clayton?
Yep.
Item
Item
6.
6, resolved that the agreement with Arcadis USA, Inc. for construction, administration, and inspection services to complete cured-in-place lining of sewer pipes in an amount not to exceed $714,052, as further described in the exhibit to agenda item number 6, is hereby approved. And the executive director, Sidney J. Holbrook, be and hereby is authorized and empowered for and on behalf of the authority to negotiate, execute, and deliver such agreement and any and all reasonable and necessary documents in furtherance thereof.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? Who? Sal, you moved it?
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second for you, Mike.
Thank you.
This is Tommy.
Okay, thank you. This is for the exact same project. This is for construction administration and inspection services. Arcadis was the designer for the project. They'll follow suit with construction administration and inspection. Since this is a clean water fund project, it's of significant size. Our staff, we couldn't cover the whole operation and meet the Clean Water Fund requirements as far as keeping track of the project. So we have to hire a consultant to assist us with that. So with that comes the set aside requirements that DEP has. So consultant, they're also hiring consultants to meet the WBE and MBE requirements. Total cost of this service is just under $650,000 over a year and a half of estimated construction time.
Tom, will we potentially save any money by having them do this administration? Or is it just to ensure that it stays within that budget?
It's to ensure that the contract is executed in accordance with the contract, in accordance with the contract documents. Inspection always has its ancillary benefits. It keeps the contractor on track and makes sure they're doing everything according to spec. They don't take shortcuts. Occasionally they'll come up with solutions in the field to work with the contractor that ultimately could save dollars, like negative change orders, if you will. But that's not like the norm. The norm is just to make sure that whatever we've outlined in the plans and specs gets built according to those plans and specs.
Okay, thanks. Any questions for Tom? Comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously again. Item 7, Clayton.
Item 7, resolved that the list of pre-qualified engineering consulting firms to provide the authority with on-call contract engineering services, as further described in the exhibit to agenda item number 7, is hereby approved.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Mike,
I'll
second?
second it for you.
Thank you, Bob. Tom, again, are you talking about this one?
Yep, thanks, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. The last time I came to you with on-call engineer pre-qualification list was about 5 years ago. We used the same format, a 3-year approval with 2 one-year extensions. This is a very time-consuming but important task that we have to go through every so often. We have a list of on-call consultants. I refer to them whenever we give work out. We give work to those who are qualified under certain categories. The categories are listed on that attachment that I gave you there. It's like 13 different specific categories. Right in the middle of COVID, we actually gave the consultants an extra long time to look at this Gave them a couple months, just figuring that was something good that they could work on while they transitioned to having to work from home, a lot of the people. But we sent it out, and we received 27 different consultants. Most we've worked with in the past. Some, for example, like Freeman Companies has been a subcontractor to others. Some of these contractors on here probably would ultimately be subs for other larger contractors on bigger contracts. But we had a selection panel. We have certain criteria we evaluated them on, and it was passed out to 3 members of the engineering department and then 3 of the operations department, Gary, Joe, who else was involved on your side there, Gary? Was it Gary, Joe, myself, Ricardo, Bruce, Mario? And I think that was it. 6 of us?
Yeah, that was it.
Not forgetting anybody? No. So we went through the process and evaluated each of these 27 firms based on the proposal package, which we received electronically, keeping in mind that we're in the middle of COVID, so we didn't want to pass out hard copies at the time. So went through these electronic submissions. Each of the consultants put forth which areas of specialty they wanted to be considered for. Ultimately, we evaluated each firm and selected them based on which specialties we feel that they could support us in. Some of these firms will, over the next, this is also a 3-year with two 1-year extensions. Some of these firms may not get work with us at all. Some may get 1 or 2 tasks to perform. And like I said, some of the others may be just subcontractors for some of the primes on the larger projects at the pump station. So this list I'm presenting forward to you for formal approval as being our on-call list, and will be set forth that way for up to 5 years. So I guess you can answer any questions on it.
Questions for Tom? Tom, are these people we've basically the same group that we've worked with in the past?
Yeah, like I said, pretty much all of these players do business in Connecticut. We're familiar with them all. We haven't given work to all of them. There's some on the list that, that we haven't given any work to. But that doesn't mean they're not qualified to do work under certain categories, and we could, depending on, we always try to do it in a best fit. We look at whatever the task is, whatever that specific talent is that's required, and we look at the pool of engineers and sometimes project managers. A good project manager may move from one firm to another, and we want that particular project manager we like a lot, and we may talk to this other firm that maybe we haven't worked with in the past, but we're familiar with the talent that's actually at the firm. So it gives us a lot of flexibility. It's worked very well. And most importantly, it meets the quality-based selection requirement the DEP requires. And so that's it.
Tom, a company like Jacobs that's checked off they're available for 10 categories. Does that mean if they get it, if they get a job that they can sub it to one of the other companies that's also qualified that selected that section? Or would they have to do the job?
Well, company like Jacobs, there's a few of those. Arcadis these are some of the most elite engineering firms in the world in the wastewater business. So, you go through their quals and they're very robust, very qualified. It's hard not to say they're not qualified. So that's why they end up getting selected in so many different categories. That being said, if they were doing a job, they would likely hire a survey firm off of this list to do the surveying, or maybe the geotechnical or some of the specialties. So they most certainly would hire a local firm to do that, and probably wouldn't do it themselves because they have, for a number of reasons, they have to meet SB, WB requirements for the Clean Water Fund, And then they're also more nimble because they can hire someone locally, get the work done. Like for instance, a surveyor may have control in a particular area. It'd be less expensive and they're aware of that, and that's what they would do.
Thank you.
Hey, Tom, once we approve this, what these companies understand that they have an obligation sort of to respond in a pretty quick time for issues we have. What's the obligation on their part?
Yeah, well, we have a contract that was set up years ago, and it's an on-call contract, and it basically points to task orders. So it's a generic contract that points to a task order that's signed by Sid. So when that task order is more than $50,000, they come to you guys, get approval for Sid to execute that task order, and that task order feeds into the language of this contract. So once you guys approve this, what we'll be doing is sending out letters to all these consultants saying they've been selected for these, whatever a number of specialty areas, depending on which engineering firm it is. And here's the contract, we're looking to execute it. We put a caveat in there that says if they want to negotiate, it's non-negotiable based on our, because it's our attorney's language that put this together. There's been instances where some of the larger firms don't want to enter the contract until we have a task order at hand and we've kept it off to the side and then executed it if we get into if we have to issue the task order. But for the most part, it goes fairly smoothly. Everyone signs these and they're in the file cabinet.
With this list, we have some options anyway, right? If one person can't do it or something, we go to another person.
Correct. And sometimes depending on the need, we're not sure just by looking at the list. So we may call a couple or 3 engineering firms and ask them to provide more information on a particular project. And we do that at our discretion, especially when teams move around and shift, where we're comfortable with a particular firm, but they've lost certain people, where we have to reestablish a level of comfort with the team.
These are engineers.
Yeah, it sounds like it gives us the flexibility we need.
Yes.
Very good. Any other questions for Tom? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8, Clay.
Item number 8, resolved that the budget transfer requests as described in the exhibit to agenda item number 8 are hereby approved.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Russ seconds it. Thank you. Gabe, is this you?
Yes, this is $15,000 being transferred from damages and settlements, which is the account we pay out of sewer backups and claims, to the building maintenance. We've had a lot of extra cleaning and certified spraying done every other week here because of the virus. We've been taking all these state of Connecticut required and cleaning techniques, and the guy who comes and does the spraying every other week on the weekend is certified in this COVID electrostatic treatment. So this 15,000 is up and over our normal maintenance and cleaning numbers. This becomes part of our request for reimbursement from FEMA. We have an application in for reimbursement. We don't know how much we'll get, but we keep pushing on it to get as much as we can. And they keep changing the specific requirements. So it'll be some time, but we'll stay on them until we get our money. That's really it.
Okay. Any questions for Gabe? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item 8 carries. We're on to item 9, executive summary, Sid.
Okay, Stephen. It's kind of a busy month last month. We complied with all the requests that Save the Sound had presented to us by way of the FOI request. And after they received the information, which was about 15,000 pages worth of information, although it was electronically transmitted, we didn't send them actual paper, but anyway, they asked to meet with us and go over some of the information we provided to them. So we met with them on a via Zoom, and basically every question that they asked was answered in the documents that were provided to them. However, there was an engineer on the line. He hadn't seen any of the documents. Actually, one person, I believe, that was on the line out of about 5 had the chance to review the documents and still didn't pick up with the information that they were provided with that would have answered their questions. But it was good. We offered to have the engineer come in and meet with us if he wanted to go over any further questions they might have. But, being the good Samaritans we are, and being a very transparent and open organization, we were very willing to meet with them and provided everything they wanted to have. If you had an opportunity to see their last email or last newsletter they put out, they gave grades to Long Island Sound, and the waters in Long Island Sound right off of New Haven and all the way down actually almost to Bridgeport were given a grade A. Get down into New York, they got an F, but that's nothing new. I think at this point in history, they might get an F in a lot of areas. Anyway, the coat drive is on again this year and probably going to be needed more than ever with so many people out of work. And hopefully we can get those coats, get them in and get them out before Thanksgiving or in the area of Thanksgiving. Some good news. Mario, congratulations are in place for Mario. He won an award from the American Society of Engineers, and the GNHWPCA was just won another award on our short-term control plan. So those are two good things. The Whitney Avenue project was completed, as Steve told everybody at the beginning of the meeting. For some of you that didn't see it, there was an article written in or online in the Independent about the GNHWPCA specifically, and some of the properties that were facing foreclosure. Gabe spoke with, I wasn't here when the reporter called. Gabe spoke with the reporter, did a great job in responding to the reporter. Basically, it's the same article that they've written in the past. It seems like it comes up every so many months, but it was factual. And if you read the comments down at the bottom, I would say that the majority of the comments, well, I wouldn't say the majority of the comments were all in favor of the process we have in place to collect outstanding debt. And we just got a FEMA reimbursement for,
We didn't get it.
we've asked for it, for $81,000 at this point. And I'm pretty confident that we should be getting that. So that's what I have right now. Anybody have any questions related to anything that I covered here or anything else?
Sid, this is Stephen. I think I saw that article about the sound report. It was pretty mixed, and they were really talking about most of the bays being much more contaminated, than the general sound. But in general, there was a real sort of concern. The point of the article was a real concern about the need to continue efforts to abate pollution in Long Island Sound. And it's just an assault that continues and work that needs to continually be done. What's your feeling with Save the Sound now in terms of where they are with us?
Well, I don't think there's we follow the.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello, who is that?
That's Russ.
it's Russ.
I had a phone call.
You okay, Russ?
Yeah, I'm all right.
All right, buddy. Well, first of all, as far as their report goes, if the Save the Sound ever came out and said that the Long Island Sound was wonderful, they wouldn't be in business anymore. You got to remember that. Number
Well,
two, no, that's
yeah,
right.
but
No, that's right. And number three, does the sound always need attention and always need to be looked at, or is there always a concern there? Yes, there is. I mean, and we do our part. Certainly when we put the last upgrade in at the plant, we brought the whole state of Connecticut into compliance with the nitrogen upgrade. Not what we did as far as nitrogen reduction for the state of Connecticut. As far as where we are with Save the Sound, who knows? I think we're in pretty good shape with them. We gave them everything they asked for. We've told them the truth. We have nothing to hide. We complied 100% with what was required from us as far as the spill is concerned, or was concerned. If they come back and want any more, we're here to give it to them.
you think that was an excuse for them to get all that information and just have it to go over at their leisure?
I think that, they feel they do have a responsibility to their constituency to monitor any issues related to Long Island Sound or any tributaries to Long Island Sound. And that's why they asked for the information, so that they can let their constituency know that they have done that. And we understand, but we have a responsibility, and I think you said this yourself, Steve. We have a responsibility to the not only our constituency, but to the state of Connecticut by way of our permit to do work. And we do work here at the GNHWPCA, as Gabe told them in the meeting, every single day and night, 365 days a year, every year, to better the waters, receiving waters, and better the system that we have in place for those that we serve. I mean, we do real environmental work here. And,
No question.
And I think we do it well. And once in a while, just like anything, you're going to have a breakdown. So unfortunately, that's what happened here. Or that's what happened with the spill.
And my next comment is relative to this. Not only did we complete that pipe in Hamden, but we just want to remind the board, we also approved an evaluation now of the rest of the Mill River system to evaluate that, make sure that has integrity as well.
Right.
So,
Right, it's a good point, Stephen.
Yep.
So, okay, so that's what I got. And then I think an independent, Gabe handled that well. Same thing, we're always faced with people that don't pay their bills. Some of those people had bills that went back to.
One of those bills, one of the ones that was listed, all those foreclosures had been canceled. They actually were in court at the very beginning of last year. And then when the court shut down because of the COVID, they just idled. But all those were actually canceled prior to the article. And we haven't moved anything since the whole COVID thing. We have not moved anything to the attorneys. The things that are in collections at the collection agencies remain there. We continue to lien, but we've been holding off on moving anything to the attorneys. As Sid was saying, one of those actions, we haven't received payment in 7 years. It's a rental property from an out-of-state landlord. And as much as I tell Paul Bass, and I mean, I think that he takes a lot of it and puts a lot of good things in there. The thing that I wish he would put in there is our utility doesn't have the ability to terminate service. So you're not going to see the water company or the gas company or the electric company not get paid for 2 years. It doesn't happen. Their service is terminated, and in order to get back on, they have to pay it. I mean, we had the guy didn't pay us for 7 years. So it's not the same for the other utilities as it is for us without the ability to terminate.
A very good point, and an issue for us. I know we try to do the best we can. When this came up before with the city of New Haven, they determined after the study that we actually had a more lenient foreclosure policy than the city did.
Yeah, Steve, we had our collections meeting today with customer service. We've never ever failed to make an arrangement with somebody who's contacted us. Never. The only way you end up at the attorneys is after 2 years or 3 years of non-payment and non-contact. We don't have the ability. If you don't contact us, we can't make an arrangement.
Yeah. No, that's unconscionable not to pay us for 7 years. I mean.
Yep. Yeah.
Not even contact.
There wasn't even a mortgage on the property. I mean, that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, just reach out. If you have a constituent or somebody you represent, that has an issue, if you come to us, we're going to work with you. It's just.
Yeah,
Sid, Bob.
Go ahead, Mike.
Bobby. Go ahead,
No,
Bob.
this is Bob.
Bob.
I have a question, Sid. When you go after somebody for a delinquent payment, all you can do is actually put a lien on the property, and hopefully they'll call you to make an arrangement to get paid?
Yes, first, Bobby, we send them to the collection agency, which is 2 outside agencies that send them dunning letters. We internally lien the properties, plus we have our own collection dunning letters that go out directly from us. And it remains there for probably over a year, probably the better part of 2, until it's over $1,000. And then depending on the circumstance, it goes to one of the attorneys on our collection list.
Oh, boy.
Sid, I just wanted
reaching
to.
for straws.
Yeah.
Sid, you can let, board members know. I mean, we don't always know about these situations. So if you want to let us know, we could maybe help or be another person to contact these particular
We don't
customers.
contact them though, Steve. This is a blind process. We don't selectively determine who goes in and who goes out. The process of collections happens. In other words, you move from our collections, you move to the collection agency, and then the files get turned over. I mean, we have thousands of accounts in the collection status, so we really can't start knocking on people's doors. We need to let the process happen. They have to.
Yeah, right.
We don't want to start trying to contact every single person that owes us money. There's thousands of them.
Really?
And the majority of them pay. So.
And they are contacted because they're contacted. Send them bills.
Renee calculated at one time for me. It did a review. This one account that was in it was 3 years. They had 60 correspondences. I mean, that's, how many times are you going to get contacted for?
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah.
It's
You might as well move in with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But our collection percentage in general is really good, isn't it?
It's very good. I mean, considering we can't terminate service, it's excellent. And then after a 2-year period, we're up into the high 90s because we're a priority lien. So we lien the property and we're going to get paid if there's a transfer of title or a sale. Our goal, even in collections, is to have the bank who's holding the first mortgage pay us, which happens a lot of the times.
Yeah, and our collection rate is high. This is one of the things that the rating agencies look at and our auditors look at. And we've never been red flagged for what we do. We always get good marks. And, I have to say personally, given that we can't shut off their utility, that's pretty good. Think about it. And on the other hand, we've never foreclosed and taken anybody's property. So, I think we do a good job. That shows that we do a good job.
Okay. Sid, I wanted to ask you, if the COVID has, in the last 6 months, created any issues that you'd like to bring to the board?
No, we haven't really had any issues here. We had a couple instances where family members have had it, but we haven't had any here. And I'm glad you brought that up. We were
But
supposed,
I'm talking about in terms of even, working with contractors or getting the work done, anything.
no, it hasn't affected us, to my knowledge.
The contractors really never skipped a beat.
No,
They pretty much kept working right through.
right.
As Sid had said, we had a couple people whose family members, we make them quarantine, we have them get tested immediately, then they quarantine for the 14 days and they have to get tested again before they're allowed back to work.
We are supposed to reopen also on, right now on our website, we're supposed to reopen on November 1st.
We may push that out
Yeah.
again. The numbers, as we've discussed, the numbers are higher today than they were a month ago. So we're cautiously conscious of what's going on, and we just keep trying to stay the course.
Yeah, well, with kids back to school, there's more pressure on those numbers going up.
Yeah,
So it looks like that's the trend for the immediate future.
I mean, they had to anticipate that. I mean, they had thousands of kids going back to school and colleges. I mean, if they didn't anticipate some increase, I would have to be really surprised. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, we had a more open summer too, so people were interacting more, and not everybody, I guess the majority of people seem to be responding and doing the responsible thing, but not everybody.
that's always the case. But no, all in all, as far as the authority as a whole goes, as Gabe said, we haven't really skipped a beat as far as our contractors, and none of the projects have been slowed down or anything that relates to construction. And as far as the company here goes, as Gabe said, we've dealt with it, I think, responsibly and very prudently and conservatively.
Very good. Any other questions for Sid? Okay, we'll move on to item 10. Do we have any new business, Gabe?
no new business today.
No new business. Item 11 is a call to the public. Do we have anyone that's joined in? No. Before we get a motion to adjourn, I'd like to just thank Ernie for helping us to do these Zoom meetings. Again, we had very successful meeting. Thank you, Ernie. Anybody else there that's been helpful in that regard? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Mike,
I'll
second?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.